What's up, y'all? Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair. My favorite thing about the holidays? Decking out my whole house. It's not a competition, but if it was, well, I'd win the season with Wayfair. Outdoor inflatable Santa? Got it on Wayfair. Trees, lights, and ornaments? Wayfair. Hosting must-haves like dining sets, beds, sheets, and towels? Wayfair. For everything in your style delivered with fast and free shipping, visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app to win the season. But again, it's not a competition.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Marriott Bonvoy is the official hotel partner of US Soccer. Join Marriott Bonvoy today to get closer to the game with exclusive perks, unforgettable experiences, and benefits that go beyond the pitch. Spring Hill Suites, part of Marriott Bonvoy, offers complimentary hot breakfast and spacious all-suite accommodations, perfect for the whole team, with room for up to 6 guests. Make your next getaway a win. Learn more at springhillsuites.marriott.com.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. Hours at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Welcome to the 303rd episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. I am your host, Floyd Johnson. And Austin is out this week. He's on a cruise, living the boat life. So joining me this week, so I don't have to do this by myself, is graciously friend of the show and often contributor, Mr. J.R. Perez. How you doing today, J.R.?
Man, it is Sunday, December 22nd, if I did my, or December 21st. And it's actually the last weekend that I'll be enjoying of 2025 in the States, as you and I are about to embark on a great adventure to the land of the rising sun.
So, me, JR, Jeremy, Josh, and my friend Dan are all within the next couple of weeks. I'm just going to use that as the area, all going to Japan to watch Wrestle Kingdom. JR heads out next week. I head out the weekend right after that. Cause I have to, I'm going to be in World's End in, Chicago cause I'm a fucking idiot. And, yeah, so this is how we're going to roll. I'm really excited. I've never been to a country that English wasn't its first language. I know a lot of people speak English in Japan. I heard it's not really a problem. But I've never been to a country where English is not a first language. This is JR's second time, right?
Yes, this is my second time. I was there for Wrestle Kingdom 18.
Yeah, he was there for Wrestle Kingdom 18. Earlier this year, we were like, I'm going. He said he was going, and then I don't know who said it first. Were you coming back? Because you were going at another time, and then we decided to go for Wrestle Kingdom, right?
Yeah, I think originally I was planning on going in November, and then when Tanahashi announced that it was going to be his last match, and I think we basically configured to go together at the same time in after Christmas. So I'll be leaving next the 27th. My mother's coming with me, and we'll be doing some sightseeing before the festivities kick off, and then Floyd will be joining me on January 3rd, right before the day before Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes, because I have to do the stupid thing called work. I know a lot of people, because I do a lot of stuff, they forget that I actually do work a lot. like if you knew how much I worked, you would think I was lying. Is that correct, JR, as my co-signer?
Oh, absolutely. It's ridiculous. I mean, I feel It is interesting because Floyd and I have a dynamic. Floyd puts in more hours than I do, but then I'm the one that thinks too much about work, and then Floyd's like once Floyd's off the clock, work is over. He's never thinking about it ever again until his next shift.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I say it, and it's just like when I say I work a lot, people are like, "Oh, you work a lot." You know, a lot of people work a lot, and then I actually break down the amount of hours that I put in, and they're like, "Oh, that's how you can do everything you do." And I'm like, "Yes, it's there's no hookup when I'm not on trips. I work every weekend. I work every weekend that I'm not on a trip. So anytime you don't hear me going out anywhere, that means I'm working. So that's what I'm doing now. It's always funny because, like I say, even like my family members, because I don't talk about work. I mean, JR knows that. I don't talk about work. A lot of people know that. I mean, work is just something I do. It's not like who I am. It's just, hey, this is this thing I have to do every week so I can go watch wrestling. So, yeah. So it's always fun when people are like, man, you're so lucky. I'm like, dude, I grind for this shit. Grind. So this month, and a few people know that are on the Social Suplex, I literally, to have extra money for Japan to make sure we have so much fun, I have been delivering packages for a certain company that certain company that you can order AEW pay-per-views on their network, but I'm not going to say the name because I don't want nobody trying to look me up or anything, which I don't think I'm important enough to look up, believe me, but just in case. But yeah, so I've been delivering packages for them. I've been not eating, not going out to eat, all that shit, so I can make this trip, and I'm really excited. Other than just being in Japan, just touch the moment I touch ground in Japan, the flight lands, I get out. It's a dream come true. And this is kind of like our Christmas episode, so if we don't get right into AEW, don't trip. It's just me and JR just chatting. But yeah, so the moment I get there, it will be like a lifelong dream come true. It's like I've heard about Japan. I mean, I think the first thing I've heard about was like the Great Kabuki and the Great Muda and the Land of the Rising Sun, and then Big Man Vader later, and Stan Hansen. I always heard he was a Japanese legend, So it's like the relationship with Japan is great. And the fact that I get to go with the Keeping It Strong Style group, that we're all going, means a lot to me. I am a super sentimental person. So the people I go to stuff with, people I do stuff with, means just as much to me as actually going to the event. So the fact that I get to go with the Keeping It Strong Style, I get to go with JR, who literally, when AEW started, me and JR didn't know each other. So our relationship as friends we've basically speed run a 20-year friendship. You know what I mean? We like, hey, let's do a 20-year friendship, but let's do it in like 5 years. And that's basically our friendship as we know it. We just sped run it. And so this time around, JR, let me ask you, since I'm doing the talking, what are you most excited about this time around?
I think for me, the part that I'm excited about is the opportunity to go to Wrestle Kingdom with you and the Keeping It Strong Style group, because when I went 2 years ago, I had a lot of fun, and but I didn't go to Wrestle Kingdom or wrestling with anybody, so I was by myself, and it was a great experience. But now it's like similar to when we went to All In Texas. Is, hey, we're gonna go watch the show together. Hey, let's go get some food. Let's may have a drink or two. That's what I'm looking forward to, is that camaraderie, that, why we all, one of the things that binds us together is our love for wrestling.
Yes. And I'm also looking forward to wiping Japanese people's tears when Takeshita walks out as the and still IWGP champion. They're not going to be happy about that, JR. That's just not even a little bit. So, but I'm going to be happy about it because Takeshita is the new king of Japan. I've elected him that. the king of Japan. So there we go. So, but let me make sure you are, before we start to talking about the wrestling, make sure you're downloading this fine show on YouTube Music or Apple Podcasts. Please leave a rating and review if you're inclined to follow us. You can follow us on Twitter at AT Elite Pod, at Social Suplex, at Austin Sumowitz, and you can follow me at Floyd Johnson Jr. I am the most inconsistent tweeter ever. I'll tweet 100 times and then tweet once in a week. So if you're like really looking on my thoughts on things, you're probably not going to get them. I do tweet a lot of pictures though. I think Twitter's Instagram. So JR, if they want to stalk you on the socials, how can they stalk you?
They can follow me on Threads. That's where I'm kind of mostly at is on Threads at TGIF Professor. But yeah, like I said, hopefully I'll be documenting the trip for Japan on there on Threads at TGIF Professor.
Yes. So yeah, so if you happen to listen to the show and Keeping It Strong Style, and for some reason, some miracle, you're going to be in Japan for the show, we will be at the New Japan podcast meetup. We are not a New Japan podcast, but honestly, New Japan was my gateway drug into AEW and just all things outside of WWE. New Japan was that gateway drug for me. So it's really cool, that this is coming about, and we'll meet up with Jeremy, Josh, and all the groups, because I've actually listened to Super J-Cast. The other shows I've never listened to. I am one of those people. If I find a place that makes a good burger, I don't really go to another place. I just go to that place and only that place. And you're like, have you tried this burger place? I'm like, no, I like the burger place I have. So that's how I feel about Keeping It Strong Style. I like Keeping It Strong Style, so I don't really look for other New Japan podcasts. So that being said, it'd be cool to meet everybody there. So, and I know we're both really excited to see Issa, our girl Issa. She basically lives in Japan, but we are glad to see her. So that'll be fun. So let's talk about the Wrestle Graps. The new big news of the week really is the C2 continues, and you're getting a lot of pre-recorded shows for AEW. So they did Dynamite Holiday Bash it was Holiday Bash, and that was in Manchester. Then they recorded 2 hours of Collision. They did 1 hour of Collision on Wednesday, so that was a 3-hour show, and then they did the other hour on Saturday afternoon. So that's how they did it this year. And so you still got 4 hours of wrestling, but it was a little split up. They're actually recording the Christmas, I forgot what's it called, the Christmas something today. The Miracle on 34th Street or Clash on 34th Street, something, but it's today. Yeah, Christmas Collision is today. They're actually recording it.
Dynamite on 34th Street.
Dynamite on 34th Street and Christmas Collision, they actually recorded it this weekend. They're recording one tonight. They're recording that tonight, and actually right now at 4 o'clock Eastern. So it's 4:30 Eastern. They're actually recording it right now. Also, the Two Hearted IPA is the official craft beer of World's End. What? Two Hearted IPA. It's got a big fish on it. It's the official craft beer World's End. You like, why would you bring that up? I just went on the site to see what the Christmas Collision and Dynamite on 34th Street, to see what they were called, and then I saw that, and that was weird. Okay, so yes. So Dynamite is actually on at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, and then on actual Christmas, the Collision they recorded today is on at 8. So that's your schedule for the week. I may or may not record something on Christmas. Maybe not on Christmas Day, but that weekend, I'm not going to try to get Austin to be on it because, again, it's Christmas. Everybody's spending time with their family. But for me, my family is my wife and my dog. So My wife goes to work the next day, and my dog in not good company all the time. So I might go ahead and record something. But JR will be in Japan, so he definitely won't be on the show next week. So we will be we're usually 2 hours apart. Now we'll be how long? How far is that? 15 hours. 15 hours.
It is 15 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, son. Hey, son, that's crazy. All right, well, let's talk about the Wrestle Graps. We're going to talk about Dynamite this week. We're going to go through the show. It was done like and I wish they would say this on the show. They never say it on the show. This is a very big, to me, no. On the show, they say it's going to be 3 hours, but they do not tell the people on HBO Max on the show that, hey, before we get there, what you should do is, you got to back out of AEW Dynamite on HBO Max, and then you have to go in back in under Collision. I'm just saying, as a person watching the show, we're all watching the show. I mean, I'm hoping the people are watching the show if you're listening to this show. Some people don't know that. So how about you throw out a little warning that, it's just going to stop playing. Because that's what's going to happen. It's just going to start playing and stop playing. And you need this to go to the other show, go to the other link, because I got to tell you, it gets fucking confusing. And I have to remind someone every time. And they're like, oh, I missed 15 minutes of the show because I wasn't expecting it. Do you know what I'm talking about, JR? Have you seen people do this too? Or do you just know to do it?
I didn't know to do it until it said no, this show has ended.
Yeah. That's not when you should be finding out, right? That's we can agree on that. That's not what you should be finding out.
No, and it's it doesn't make sense either, because I understand, I guess they're telling us this 3-hour show. And I remember it was something similar this, years ago. I'm talking about back in the late 90s. WWF would run Monday Night Raw as a 2-hour show, but it was the first hour was Raw, and then the second hour was Warzone. But we all thought it was just 2 hours of wrestling. And I understand the premise. What they're doing is they're saying, oh, it's a 2-hour show plus. It's really a 3-hour show, but the schedule may not look right, and it's just something they need to clean up, because it's really not necessary to have 2 separate video links for it.
Yeah. So, that's a great word. That's something that they need to clean up, because we were getting into the show, and it was just weird because, like I said, I'm generally in a chat group, even if I'm. And it just is funny. Even if I'm not actually communicating in a chat, I'm always in there watching, kind of seeing what people think, so I'll know what to talk about on the show. And it's just every time I miss the first 15 minutes. I miss this part. All because they won't tell you that the show is switching over. So, Excalibur, shout out to you. I know you don't listen to the show, but just in case, hey. Go and throw that shout out next time. Just say, hey, go ahead and back out of HBO Max and go back in. All right. So here we go. HBO. Okay, there it is. So this one again was pre-recorded, just to let everyone know. So there were spoilers out there. I will say this. I don't live in the UK, so I know the UK people have very little sympathy for us in this case. But hey, if you're going to get online, you're going to run an account, and you're going to post stuff from the show, how about doing your boy a favor? Just don't even do it for anybody else. Just do it for me. How about just throwing that hashtag on there for me? Because I mute all my shit at the beginning of the day. I'm not going to log out of social media. I'm just not. That's how I keep up with all of my friends. So I'm absolutely not going to log out of social media. How about just throwing a little hashtag AEW, hashtag this in it, so I can just, look at this without getting spoilers. And I know you want to be out there first. You want people to click on your page. But honestly, for me, when I do it and I see you didn't hashtag it or anything, it just makes me hate your page and actively root against it. So there we go. All right. All right. We started off, my favorite way to start off Dynamite, in the middle of the ring, Jon Moxley and Roderick Strong, and they just start off fighting. Dude, if every AEW Dynamite, for me, again, everybody's allowed to have their own opinion, but if every AEW Dynamite started with just two guys in the ring wrestling, oh my God, it would be the best thing ever. It's just, to me, when it first started, I first saw it done on Dynamite, I was like, and everybody talks about what makes Dynamite different from any other company out there. I'm not going to focus on one specific company. It's that when the 7 o'clock starts, the bell rings and there's two people in the ring. If that would be the signature of Dynamite, I would love it. JR, what do you think about just that part before we talk about the actual match?
No, I definitely think that's a fair criticism, because when you think of wrestling shows, and not to use an old promoter's logic, but you want to be what separates you, what makes you different. If I see on Monday a 20 hour, it feels like sometimes 20 hours, a 20-minute, promo interview in-ring segment, and I see the same thing Friday, and then I see the same thing Wednesday, it's just, to me, it just starts becoming a lighter version of a different product. But if you're saying, if you do every Wednesday, we're going to start off with the match. It'll matter the match. It'll matter what kind of match, what type of match. It's just, we're going to start with wrestling. We're not going to stop with a 10 to 20 minute interview promo segment to advance storylines. We could do that later, but let's start with the match. It just, to me, it starts to show off on the right foot, and again, makes it look different.
I was saying it just sets the standard that you're a pro wrestling show. You tune in at 8 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday, 5 o'clock Pacific, and the first thing you're going to see is wrestling. And I just think that announces your presence with authority. Do you know what movie that's from?
Yes, it's Bull Durham.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love that. It's like one of my favorite things to say, announce your presence with authority. So, the show opens with Moxley and Roderick Strong. Somebody said on our page, because I thought this was a really good match, someone said on the page that Roderick Strong is the most consistently underrated wrestler in the world. Let me ask you this, JR, because I always thought underrated means you're good, but people don't know you're good, right? I feel like everyone knows Roderick Strong is good.
I completely agree with that assessment. When you talk about underrated, I think you're talking about somebody who potentially is just, that stays in the back, doesn't have a lot of matches, is kind of always a behind-the-scenes type situation. So when you have, Roderick Strong, who was a big focal point, was big for Ring of Honor, had a solid run in NXT and now in AEW, I'm like, I don't feel like he's underrated. Now, if you feel like he's underutilized, that's a different story.
Yeah, underutilized, different story. It's just like, I always thought Arn Anderson was underrated. And then he retired. And then I found out how many fans he had. And I'm like, oh, he wasn't underrated. He just pretty much wasn't put in the spot I wanted him to be. Everyone knew he was good. Everyone knows Roderick Strong is good. He's one of those people. Like, you need a good match with someone, Roderick Strong. Someone gets injured and you need somebody to carry the title for a while, Roderick Strong. I'm like, Roderick Strong is going to put on a good match every time. He's going to give maximum effort. He's going to tell a great story because he's always trying to break your back. And that's what I thought we had in this match. Him and Moxley were going at each other. Everybody knows the story on Mox right now, the scouting report on Mox. Get him in a submission hole, he'll tap out. That's the scouting report on Mox right now. So, that was the kind of the story of the match, is Roderick Strong trying to get him in get him in a submission move and trying to tap out. It was a very physical match. And I've been like this from the beginning. And And I kind of understand why they don't do it, because it might even be too predictable. But I ask every time the Death Riders come out, how's Roderick Strong not in this group? His literally is. He's a no-nonsense person that just wants to break your back and hurt you. How is that not Death Rider? Explain it to me, JR. Help me out.
I mean, if you change him into if you just change his strokes to black and put on a white shirt, he's right there in the Death Rider.
Yeah, it's like he's a Death Rider. It's just like, and I don't know the Marina story of it, if they want to work together, if they don't want to work together, whatever they want to do. I'm not, I'm like not pretending to know these. I'm not pretending to know these people or any of their motivations in life. But it just seems like from the moment the Death Riders have been the moment the Death Riders were out there, it's like, why isn't Roderick Strong in the Death Riders? He just seemed like that. I thought the same thing about Daniel Garcia. They fixed that. Now it's time to fix it with Mr. Strong whenever they decide to do it, so he can put stronghold on people, which he did have his Boston Crab. I know it wasn't the full-on Stronghold, because Stronghold and the original Lion Tamer are the same thing. And, he didn't get the knee in the back. He was just in a Boston Crab, so... but in the end, Jon Moxley, all right, here it is. Moxley dropped Strong on his head with the Death Rider to get the victory in the 6 points. This loss ends Strong's chances of winning the C2. So he's the first person eliminated completely from competition as far as winning it all, but he can still play spoiler. And Jon Moxley actually won with the DDT and pinned him, because he's been choking people out and doing the submission thing so long. So I thought that was pretty cool. What'd you think of the match?
Oh, I think from my perspective, it is, when you look, I'm having back several quickly. When you look at the C2 as well as the the G1 Climax and anything essentially that is a kind of a round robin tournament, you have certain talent in there because you're either trying to advance storylines, but also they're going to give you a good match. And when you look at with Moxley, he's moving forward in some with his character. I think there's still a lot of movement that's going to happen in the future for Moxley and the Death Riders. And Roderick Strong is in there because he can give a great match. And was the purpose of this, because, you're going to have guys who are going to be, that's going to lose matches, and you're going to have guys who have to advance their storylines a part of this. And you added two talents who are significant part of C2 as far as wrestling-wise, but also advancing, the storylines of AEW. And I thought they had a solid match while, move forward with their character arcs.
Yeah, and that's... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I do expect something... I don't know if I think World's End's too soon, but I do expect something for both of these characters, definitely by Revolution.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Every year, and I do apologize if your guy ends up being this guy, there's going to be a guy like Roderick Strong in it, where it's like, oh, what's his job? Oh, his job is to lose. He's going to lose a lot. He's going to take a lot of pinfalls, that kind of thing. And in this case, it was Roderick Strong. And apparently, he was a replacement for Kyle O'Reilly, who got hurt. So, I don't know what that means, but I don't know if Kyle O'Reilly would have been. I don't feel like Kyle O'Reilly would have been losing, because they had been gotten pretty behind Kyle over the last couple months. So, I don't know how that would work out going forward. But he's that guy. He's the guy this time. Roderick Strong. And the great thing is he's always going to put on a good match. I thought his match with Orange Cassidy was one of the better matches at last week's Collision, was one of the better matches of this whole thing. So we will see what he brings in the future. All right. So then up next, we had a promo from Eddie Kingston. Says he uses the old adage, I don't lose, I learn. I didn't lose against Moxley, I learned. And he said, basically, I'm challenging somebody up to come to Collision so I can show you what I learned, which I thought very good promo for a baby face that had just lost. It was just like an Eddie Kingston puts his voice, his attitude, his everything. Like, it definitely brings a gravitas to everything that he does. It makes everything he says, makes everything he does matter more. You get what I mean?
Yes,
All
absolutely.
Right. All right. So, all right. Then we had the 1 million or 750,000 pounds. I love how they did that. It's just a detail that makes no difference to anybody. We all know these are just made up numbers, but it's the details. This is what gets you. The details is what helps you get lost in the the disbelief. When you get helps you just join in the world. We had Don Callis and the Elite versus Okada and Takeshita and Hechicero. Okada and Takeshita actually pushed each other down a couple times in this match. They were kind of going at each other. All right, so the finishing sequence, Omega tagged back in. He put Takeshita down with a Dragon Suplex and did the same to Hechicero. Okada grabbed him for a Rainmaker, but Omega escaped and hit a third Dragon Suplex. The Bucks were back in, and Hechicero caught a triple super kick. Omega followed it with a V-trigger and got Hechicero up for a one-wing angel with a leaping assist from the Bucks to get the victory and win $1 million. After the match, Don Callis grabbed the money on the outside, allowing Okada to cash to attack from behind. Okada took out Omega with a Rainmaker and then seemed to get on the same page with Takeshita as they turned their attention towards the Bucks. Okada hit a Rainmaker on Matt. Takeshita hit the Raging Fire on Nick. And then they switched and did it again. Okada taunted Takeshita and shoved him, so Takeshita shoved him right back. As Callis left the money and got on the apron to break it up, Omega cleared the ring with a giant broom, and the Elite got their bag. So, two things. This might be controversial. I do not know if AEW has made me numb to the greatness of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I thought this match was just okay. Like, I'm watching it and I'm expecting it to hit this level where I say, like, this is the greatest trios match I ever saw. And it's just like, maybe I see greatness too much, because for my money, for my attention, it was fine. JR, what were your thoughts on the match?
No, I think it was a fine match. To me, when this match was put together, as one, you're in another country, you have to put on something with the names of Omega and Young Bucks for the crowd. And they did, let's not forget, they did a big crowd, in their tapings in Europe, in the UK. And this to me is more moving the story along between Takeshi and Okada, and something between Omega and the Don Callis family. As of this taping, there isn't anything announced for, and when I say taping, I mean our taping on today, on the Sunday before World's End. I don't see anything for Omega or the Bucks at World's End, but I fully expect there to be something. So I think, it's going to be something between them and the Don Callis family. And this, to me, is for continue forming two storylines at once.
Okay, I was swallowing water. My apologies. Yeah, it was just like I said. It was just like I was waiting on it to hit that next level of like, oh my God, let me tell you everything that happened in this match, and I just never felt it. And it's like it's not really a complaint. It's just more surprise, because you say, hey, there's going to be a 6-man match, and let me tell you who 5 of the people are: the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kazuchika Okada. Yeah, everybody's going to be talking about that match at the end of the week. I don't really feel like anyone's talking about that match anymore. After the match happened and it was over. And then the giant broom, I felt like that was supposed to get a really big pop, but he doesn't really use the term the cleaner that much, so I don't think the crowd like really connected that that's what he was doing. He was being the cleaner. You know what I mean? All right.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, moving on. So we get all four or three. See, I just spoiled it already. We get all three of the challengers of the three-way match at World's End in the ring. And there's Tony Schiavone's in the ring to conduct the signing. We learned if any of these men engaged in physicality, they would forfeit their spot in the match. Samoa Joe came with the ring with Powerhouse and Hobbs and Hook. I know everyone loves Hook. He said he brought them out because he didn't want to take any chances with Paige and Swerve. And I do want to remind people, you think you hate Hook right now. Honestly, watch. I mean, I know this might not apply to people listening to just see what has happened with Dominic Mysterio. Because I feel like that same energy, towards those two. He said he brought them out not because he didn't want to change any chances with Paige and Swerve, both of whom had massive chains around their respective neck. Joe signed and said he'll see both of them at World's End and he'll walk out as world champion. Swerve told Joe he'd come back at full gear for the AEW world title and circumstances were different. He'd be coming after Hangman. And with all their history, Swerve still has mutual respect for Paige in some weird way. They also have a mutual hatred of Joe. Swerve remembers the last time he had a contract signing with Joe, he was left to sign in a pool of his own blood. And you know how he paid Joe back? He took his title away from him. All right, now he has to jump through hoops and face obstacles. And you know how he's going to pay Joe back? He's going to go take his championship away from him. Swerve says he'll leave Joe with a boot print uglier than the face tattoo he had in 2007. And I love that because Joe looked at Hook and said, yeah, it was ugly. And Swerve said Paige better bring his big guns to World's End and Joe better bring his army and his big guns to World's End because you cannot kill a god with bullets. The crowd was erupted at Who's House, Swerve House. Now, this was probably Hangman. Hangman's thing is really long. But this was probably one of my favorite Hangman promos. Because he broke everything down. And I'm looking at this paragraph. I'm not going to read it all. I'm just not. And he just basically told Joe, you have no sense of dignity. Admittedly, in the twilight years of your career, I would hate for the legend of Samoa Joe to remember it as a piece of shit you are today. And the crowd chanted cowboy shift. Joe said, if anyone would know about that, it's this godforsaken town. Again, and then there's another paragraph of Hangman talking. If anybody said Hangman didn't get his time to shine on Wednesday, you are out of your mind. Because that man talked as much as anyone in this section. But he broke it down. He basically, I think he broke some people's hearts, JR. Because the reason I say that is that he broke down this title reign where he was going by defending it, wanted to defend everybody that helped him and carry the flag of AEW. And I feel like that's exactly what Hangman fans wanted. And he basically said, and you're not getting it. What do you think?
Yes, I mean, I don't know. This next evolution of Hangman, it was started good, I think, as a heel, but as he transmorphed into, back to babyface, some of his promos just don't hit for me, it hurts me because you know how much I love Hangman, but it's something just seems off.
Oh, so you didn't like this promo, and that's weird because this is my favorite Hangman promo. So it's kind of weird that we're getting there, but yeah, he basically he says, Swerve, I fully expected you to come after me, and I was gonna come after you, and we were gonna defend it, and we were gonna wrestle, and he was just breaking it down, and it was just like. We all will say, I feel like a common complaint about AEW is that if you don't watch it every week, it's hard to jump in. Man, Hangman gave you all the backstory of everybody in this case. And he did sign the paper. And he said, Joe, you've messed up worse than you know by making an enemy out of the two of us. And the fact that he was talking about him and Swerve almost as this collective was kind of cool. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have our three signatures. In 10 days at World's End, it will be a three-way match for the World Heavyweight Champion. The lights go out. I was spoiled on this. Were you spoiled on this, JR?
No, I was not, and I say this for two things. One, shout out to AEW for some of the AEW fans because I feel like they do a good job staying tight-lipped, a good decent amount of them. But two, I also have removed myself off Twitter, so it's very hard for me to see spoilers because a lot of times, unless you follow certain pages on Facebook, you're not going to see anything. So I popped.
So the lights went out, and the devil himself returned. The main character of AEW, MJF, is back. Manchester is singing his song as he comes down to the ring. What a pop. After getting in the ring, MJF reached through the ropes and was handed his Casino Gauntlet contract for a guaranteed AEW World Title shot by Smart Mark Sterling. MJF signed the contract and then handed it to Shivani. Ladies and gentlemen, MJF has just cashed in his guaranteed world title shot that he won in the Casino Gauntlet at All In. It is now a 4-match way for AE. MJF grabbed the mic. They get the point, Shivani. Now get out of my ring, you tub of goo. MJF continued. Now I'm sure you're wondering why a guy like me would illegally execute his contract knowing I'd have to face 3 men instead of 1. I'm going to read this part, and I'm not going to go through his whole thing, but I'm going to read this part because I think this is crucial because I don't think either people didn't hear this or they ignored it. He looked at Paige. He said, "Hi, Seabiscuit. From the inception of this company, you called me a coward, and while I had time getting my stuff together and filming a movie because unlike you, I'm actually a star," a point Floyd has made many times, "I was festering over this, and eventually I realized it, Hanky. Maybe you were right. The old me would have taken every shortcut in the book just to get what I want, but that wouldn't cut you down deep now, would it? See, I need to hurt you, cowboy, and I can't think of a better way to do it, but not just taking that title far away from you, but by beating you and 2 of your biggest rivals in one fell swoop. That way, you and your fans has absolutely 0 excuses." So, usually, I got to comment on this. First of all, actually, before I rant, JR, what did you think of that explanation for cashing in?
I don't know how much more clarity you need. I mean, that dude, he literally said, I am going to get vengeance on you by taking the thing that you want the most, which is my AEW world title, and I'm going to basically beat the crap out of your 2 biggest rivalries at the same time. So I'm going to be not just better than you, I'm going to be like triple better than you or whatever you could think of. Like to me, it was amazing. Like because you talked about jumping in, and if you hadn't seen AEW for a while, that dude to me covered everything from when he wrestled Hangman at Forbidden Door, and then plus some of the back history with Swerve and Samoa Joe being 2 of the biggest rivals of Hangman in the last 2 years.
Yes, and that's what I was like. Usually I do not listen to any reviews before I do this show. And the reason before I don't listen to reviews is because I don't want to repeat what people say. I don't want to make the same points. I want to be like, this is how how I see it. But I was on the Social Suplex Discord chat, and I listened to one of my podcast reviews. And they both said the same thing. The podcast review says this didn't make sense for the MJF character. MJF said it didn't make sense for the MJF character. He literally played it out for you. This is why this is unique. Now, I want to say this, because I'm always clear about it. If you're saying you just don't like it, you will hear nothing from me. You're allowed to like and not like what you want without any interaction from me. I want to make sure that's clear. If that's what you're saying, you don't like it, that's fine. But to say that they didn't explain it, or to say that he didn't address it, just means you weren't paying attention. I mean, I just read it. It can't be more clear. He has went from the schemer, which is Lex Luthor, to he's flat out Loki now. He's like, I'm coming for mischief. I am coming for vengeance. I am coming for everything that I am owed and that was taken away from me. And every person in that ring, Hangman, that's pretty much his generational rival in the company, Swerve, they've been kind of glancing and looking at each other. They've always had it. They've always had that relationship. Then Samoa Joe's the guy that took the title from MJF at World's End. So all of these are tied together. Again, if you don't like it, that's fine. That's okay. But it's not that it wasn't explained. You can't say it's a plot hole when they literally filled in the plot hole with 6 pounds of dirt. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what more you want. Now, if you don't like it or you don't want MJF to be the main character or you're still hurt that Hangman is not the world champion, you don't like any of this, I understand because it's different strokes for different folks. But yeah, everything was filled in here. Personally, I've said this before on the show, to me, this is the most interesting the world title picture has ever been in AEW. I literally think any of these 4 could win at World's End, and I could understand it. Where a lot of the times when it comes to AEW, especially in world title matches, we are pretty clear on who's going to win the match. Now, I will pause, quit talking, and listen to JR. What do you think about the main event picture? What do you think about all of this?
Ditto.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me give you a little bit of, I'm going to add just a smidge because, I'll run on. I 100% agree. And I think 2 things I will say. One, when we've had Matt, and I remember this as clear as day, all out 2021, Kenny Omega was a champion, and I was convinced that Hangman was going to come and beat him for the belt. And, Hangman ended up having a baby. It was off TV, and they put Christian Cage in there, and I was like, I hate this. I can't stand this. We know Christian Cage is not going to beat Omega. We know he's not going to beat Omega. This is ridiculous. Why are we doing this? And some people are like, oh, sometimes it's just about the match. For me, when I watch wrestling, I still want to feel like a 6-year-old kid. I want to have I want the magic back. I want the genie back in the bottle. Like, I want to know that there is some mystery to it. And I think for the first time in a long time, when I think this is probably in AEW history, if I'm thinking about this, that there was a title change in when Samoa Joe beat Hangman for the belt, that we were like, oh my God, like no one saw that coming. We just assumed Hangman was going to carry the belt for a while and just Samoa Joe was just filling a void. And now you have 4 main eventers, Joe as a champion and 3 former AEW champions, where for me, I think just in wrestling in general, I would say wrestling in America between, the companies we've had in the last 20 years, I don't know if I've ever gone into a fatal 4-way type match where I didn't know who was going to come out, and anyone coming out as the champion, you can make sense of. I can say, you know what? Samoa Joe should keep the belt. And because he's great on the mic, he has the ops, and maybe they can lead to him furthering his feud with Swerve or Hangman down the line. I could see Hangman, hey, he's going to reclaim his belt. Maybe they'll pick up his feud with Swerve, do a good guy versus good guy thing, or maybe he'll continue a feud with MJF after MJF or Hangman beat him at Forbidden Door. And I would say the same. Everyone loves Swerve. Swerve is becoming a major star in professional wrestling. Him getting around with the belt, would make a lot of sense. And then obviously MJF getting the belt back, defeating all 3 of these adversaries, and getting the belt back after losing it at World's End 2 years ago, to me, makes sense. The one thing I will say, and the last thing I was going to say was, I know for some people, and I see this more in AEW, is they have their favorites, and like they want their favorites to get over, and they don't want certain guys or certain girls to get over. And I say that, the good thing about AEW is a buffet, but sometimes certain people have to get over and be put in positions for the overwhelming health, for lack of a better word, of the company. And I'll give you an example. There was no way you could tell me that at one point John Silver and Alex Reynolds should not have been AEW Tag Team Champions. I love them with every ounce of energy in my body. I thought they were over. I thought they should have been booked as champions, at least get a run with it. I thought it made all the sense in the world. Bigger picture, I don't know if that would have been maybe the best thing in the for AEW as a company. In professional wrestling, we want to see good guys like get the opportunity to finally defeat the big bad heel and become champion. But once that happens, we often go, well, what's the next thing? And this is one thing that has carried over from going back to the 80s underneath Jim Crockett, is bad guys with the belt is typically better for the company as far as getting people intrigued, because you want that good guy to be like, okay, come on, climb that mountain, and finally take down that dude and take the belt. It's like, this has been a thing, and for AEW, because while I know recently they won some awards, but I think overall wrestling has been slightly declined as far as people's, people like viewership or people having enthusiasm about professional wrestling. I feel like there's been a decline in stories this year compared to 2024 and 2023. But I think this right here is a big momentum for AEW to be like, okay, we have some momentum now. We're getting back in a great, probably honestly the best spot their title picture has been in quite a long time. And it's like, let's move forward in this direction and get intrigue and interest and grow our company's fan base.
And yeah, and because we have these conversations all the time. It's like when I always say, the only difference between me and JR's regular conversations and this show is we press record. So we have agreed a lot on this situation because we've talked about it incessantly. But it's just, wrestling for me is not just better for my enjoyment, but it seems like for the company's enjoyment, it seems to be easier to book with a heel on top. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not pretending like I work in the industry at all. I'm just saying it seems to be more entertaining. It's like Roman reigned. I'll use WWE as an example, and this is very positive. Roman reigned, and the energy and everything that was built on Roman's reign, and then Cody coming to chase it. And I just thought, that's money. And then when we had the Moxley thing, I thought we pretty much had something similar with someone coming and chase it. Like, I personally didn't think the person that should catch him was Hangman. Everyone knows that. I have not been quiet about it. But someone caught him. And then it was just like, again, it was like, what's next? And I know a lot of people wanted a 6-month or 8-month reign or however long with Hangman just beating everybody. That sounded terrible to me. It sounded terribly boring. You were going to give me 8 months of predictable main event finishes. Hangman's going to win until whoever came along. And I just wasn't into that. So when they came and did this, which I didn't know was coming, it was like they were speaking directly to me like, Floyd, we did this for you. And I just wanted to hug Tony and say, thank you. You saved wrestling. Now you saved my entertainment. Because now I'm going to enjoy this way, way, way more. I mean, FTR is on top, so don't really have a problem with the AEW, as far as entertainment. But now you made the main event picture to me interesting. So, Yes, this was great. Glad to have MJF back. Again, I think he's the main character. And, I mean, if you ever want to argue it, I could argue it to the death of me. Because when I always ask, what was the first match in AEW's history? First match in AEW's history. MJF versus Kip Sabian. Who won the match? MJF. He has been the main character. They've been telling you that since the first show. But alas, we will see. All right, so that was it. MJF said some stuff. Compared Swerve to Diddy to win it. Said some stuff to Swerve, said some stuff to all three of them. Of course, called him Hangman Sing Biscuit. I've heard green things, and I kind of agree with this. You have three other strong personalities. I don't believe those three strong personalities are just going to sit there and let him run them down for whatever, 10 minutes or whatever it was. I feel like they would have either said something or swung on him. Because I think at the beginning of this, he wasn't really covered in the no physicality, so they can kind of hit him because he wasn't supposed to be there. You get what I mean? So I think it could have went that way. It didn't. They let MJF done. I thought the segment was amazing. I thought MJF was amazing. His hair looked really, really good. How about that hair, JR? How about it? As two proud bald men, that man aggressively does not want to be bald.
Correct. And I actually was going to look at like a different picture, but his hair to me looked like it was darker. It was like not just full, but it was just darker and rich.
Yes, one day he's going to go full Lex Luthor and have a bald head, and he's going to be the most evil man ever. But, I was like, shout out to whatever you got done to your hair. It looked good, sir. It looked good. You know, he came back. He felt like MJF. He felt like he had that MJF swagger about him. And he says, my name is Maxwell Jacob Freeman, and I'm better than you. And the whole city of Manchester said, and you know it. Because he's over. Again, and I just want to shout out to Max, shout out to them. If you decide to go with MJF as the world champion, which I think probably is going to be the way to go. That's my thing. We'll do predictions later. Do predictions on another show. But just remember this. The thing about MJF, people like him when he's being despicable. If you ever think, hey, man, this guy's going to be a face, just have him do the same thing. Don't change anything. Because no one wants to see nice Max. No one. All right, so Jet Speed promo, they're ready to keep it going in Continental Classic, and their ultimate goal is to be Mike Bailey versus Kevin Knight in the C2 finals. Bailey said he's coming off the two most significant victories of his career against Kyle Fletcher and one of the best wrestlers in the world, Kevin Knight. This Saturday, he has Jack Perry, and Knight said he needs to remind people who beat Darby Allin. He needs to bring that same energy when he faces Okada. 8-woman tag, Mercedes Moné, Athena, and the Mega Problems versus Babes of Wrath and Timeless Love Bombs. I will say this. I was watching the show. I do it while I'm at work. I got a call during this match. I think you might remember we were on the phone, and I got a call during this match. So literally all I saw was the finish with Athena hitting Willow with the O-face and Monet covering her quickly to win the match for her team. That's what I saw. Like, I saw the entrances. I think I saw, I did see the pounce because I thought it was awesome. But for the most part, I was working during this call. I mean, the rest of the show, I'm pretty versed on, but I didn't really watch this match. So, JR, do you have any thoughts or memories from this match? This is all you, sir.
Can you remember what was the match again?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Kelly Clarkson with Wayfair. My favorite thing about the holidays? Decking out my whole house. It's not a competition, but if it was, well, I'd win the season with Wayfair. Outdoor inflatable Santa? Got it on Wayfair. Trees, lights, and ornaments? Wayfair. Hosting must-haves like dining sets, beds, sheets, and towels? Wayfair. For everything in your style delivered with fast and free shipping, visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app to win the season. But again, it's not a competition.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Marriott Bonvoy is the official hotel partner of US Soccer. Join Marriott Bonvoy today to get closer to the game with exclusive perks, unforgettable experiences, and benefits that go beyond the pitch. Spring Hill Suites, part of Marriott Bonvoy, offers complimentary hot breakfast and spacious all-suite accommodations, perfect for the whole team, with room for up to 6 guests. Make your next getaway a win. Learn more at springhillsuites.marriott.com.
Hey, this is Steve Gorman, radio host, sports commentator, former drummer for the Black Crowes. The winter holidays are here, a time for festive celebrations, family gatherings, and ringing in the new year. Whether it's a holiday party, a night out with friends, or just relaxing by the fire with a few drinks, it's a season full of good cheer. But here's something else to add to your holiday plans, a safe and sober ride home. Just like in sports and music, always have a game plan. And the most important part of any plan is sticking to it. If you plan to drink, take that plan a step further. Call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or have a designated driver lined up before the night begins. Drinking and driving is a decision that can change your life and the lives of others forever. A DUI, a crash, an injury. The consequences are real and lasting. So please, for your sake and for everyone else on the road, make the smart choice. Get a sober ride home. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
It was the Babes of Wrath and Mega Problems versus it was Athena, Mercedes, and Mega Problems versus Babes of Wrath and Timeless Love Bombs.
Yeah, I think it was one of those matches where they wanted to showcase all, the 8 women in there, and obviously it was leading to a future match between 2 of the teams.
Yes. So, yes. Hey, thank you for that. That was very insightful. Not really. Hey, it was a match that led to another match. Boom. No, yeah.
Further in storyline. That was all it was.
Yeah. So, in the end, Athena hit her finisher on Nightingale, and then they announced later on, so might skip that part later, that at World's End, it will be in the first defense of the women's titles. It will be the Babes of Wrath versus Mercedes Moné and Athena. I don't know what they call. I don't know if they have a fancy nickname yet. I hope they get one. But I'm a big Athena fan, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. And then, of course, me and Austin's favorite tag team is the Babes of Wrath. All right, Continental Classic Gold League. Pac defeats the Protostar Kyle Fletcher. Now, it is becoming redundant now. I feel like in a Will Ospreay way of saying Kyle Fletcher's match is amazing. Because that dude doesn't know, at this point in time, he's on this streak where he does not know how to have a bad match. This is another list of the matches that go into this pantheon of him not having a match. Pac is exceptional. Now, I will say this. If you want to say Pac was the most underrated wrestler, I could agree. Because the reason I say that is because as good as everyone knows he is, I think he's even better than we even know that he is. Like, I think Pac in his full form, fully going at it, top 5, top 10 wrestlers in the world. I'm not going 11. He's right there. And I don't think he's ever booked or put in a position or of being how good he is. And this match with Kyle Fletcher, it was like, oh, Kyle Fletcher has great matches. And it was like, oh, yeah, Pac had a really amazing match too. And the story of the match is Kyle Fletcher just like couldn't keep up with the speed to a point. Fletcher tried from a brainbuster for the second rope, but Pac escaped it with strikes. Then an avalanche poison Rana. The crowd came to the feet. Pac hit the Black Arrow to get the pinfall and move into a four-way tie. Now, again, all of that is great, and I'm hoping I remember this right, because Pac hits their Hurricane Rana. And, again, this is the other side of wrestling, the nerdy side, that I like sometimes. And Fletcher, the way he lands and rolls, he is in exact position for the Black Arrow. I've seen Pac have to move people and adjust people. He was like in the exact position of the Black Arrow. And it's like being in the right place at the right time, falling the right way, kind of rolling, whatever you have to do to get there. If you could make it look natural, it is something that I care about that probably no one else in the world cares about. And I think Kyle Fletcher's just really good at it. And I just thought he was in a perfect position for the Black Arrow. He hits it, 1, 2, 3. Such a great match. I think everybody, if you listen to this, hasn't watched it, I'm not doing it justice in explaining how awesome this match was. But I thought it was a just really good match. But yeah, Pac, in a way, gets an upset over Kyle Fletcher. Because I honestly didn't think Kyle Fletcher was losing anymore. He gets an upset over Kyle Fletcher, and now they're tied at 6. JR, did you have any thoughts on this match?
I actually, just real quickly, I agree with your sentiment. I think one thing about Pac is whether it was injuries or visa issues or honestly, sometimes just terrible booking, he has not been fully utilized in ways that he could, because I feel like he has the ability to be one of the top heels in AEW. Since his debut in AEW, with the exception of the company. And this match, I think they had a hell of a match. I think it was exactly what that crowd needed. I think it was what we needed. I think it was just a great match between two amazing wrestlers. I'm really intrigued what's going on with this Gold League and see how it's all going to flush out by this week.
Yeah, the Gold League is nuts right now. And as we get through covering the actual rest of the show and all the Gold League's matches, we are going to get to the point where we discuss the craziness that's the Gold League, because it feels like it's going to come down to the last few matches to decide who's in the Gold League, and it is it is the most intriguing of the leagues right now. It is clearly the most intriguing. All right, so then we had the AEW National Champion we had the Diamond. It was the Diamond Battle Royal. The Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called, JR?
Yeah, it's either Dynamite Ring or Dynamite Battle Royal.
Yeah, the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. I thought that's what it was called, but I was just like skipping over it. The participants were Luchasaurus, Mark Davis, Ace Austin, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, Josh Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, and Brodito made their way to the ring. They were attacked by the Demand with Ricochet. So this match was starting, and I was trying, the person that wins this match, or person that wins the battle royal and stuff, is going to basically it's going to tell you who's going to win. To me, it's going to tell you who's going to win at World's End. I was like, if it's a heel that wins, probably it's going to be the Swerve or Hangman that wins at World's End. And if it was a face, that means it was going to be Samoa Joe or MJF. I think it's going to be, I think the person that's going to win the Fatal Four or the four-way match, I keep saying Fatal Four-Way. It's just a four-way match when it's outside of WWE. Who win the four-way match is going to be one of the heels. So I said before this, I was like, oh, Bandito's winning this thing. So honestly, the reason I say that is because Luchasaurus, Mark Davis, Ace Austin, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, Josh Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, and Brodito. And then the man came out, which was Ricochet, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan. Out of the people I said, JR, who could you buy actually getting a real world title shot?
I would say, off the top of my head, Ricochet, Bandito, and maybe Luchasaurus.
And I threw Brody King in there.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Yeah. Other than that, the rest are kind of just guys, you know? So it was like, I don't think any of these people are going to get this title shot. And when I say just guys, and I'm not in, and like, I know that you know, proclivity positivity, that can come off as disparaging. But what I'm saying is they've never been positioned in the position to win the world title. They've never been in a position of really getting a title shot. You know, Josh Alexander just lost. It was, you know, there's some few people on there, but like, I believe Brody King's had a world title shot. You know, I think Luchasaurus has, and then, you know, Brodito. And it was just like, yeah, I don't think that was going to happen. So I had my pretty set, and then it kind of went like that way. Now, in the history of Battle Royals for AEW, as a person that thinks Battle Royals are the pizza of wrestling, as in, you know, even bad pizza is still pizza, well, I think even bad Royals are still decent Battle Royals. It was probably the one I liked the least. It was just kind of there, and they were outside the ring a lot, and then it was over. I don't feel like I remember anything super specific off the top of my head. Like, I'm reading results, and they was like, oh, that happened? Oh, that happened? It says, Bandito reversed the power bomb attempt into a poison round to send Khan over the top rope. And Leona was about to chokeslam Bandito from the apron, but King made the save and eliminated himself in Leona. He sacrificed himself to save his partner. And then the Poison Rana, Bandito, and Ricochet are the winners of the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. And we'll meet next week in the final on Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve, we will have the AEW National Champion, Mr. Ricochet, versus the ROH World Champion, Bandito, to decide who gets to go after the AEW World title. God, there's a lot of titles in this company. Just a lot of titles. But that being said, what did you think of the two that they ended up with?
The thing I like what Tony Khan is doing recently, this year in 2025, is showcasing talent that will be added to the future of the company. So we saw with guys like obviously MJF, Swerve, Hangman, they're a very important focal point for the future. But now here's coming like your next wave. And to me, Bandito and Ricochet is a significant part of that. With Bandito especially being the ROH champion, and then Ricochet being the new inaugural AEW National Champion, we're looking at guys who can potentially be players in the heavyweight picture in a year or two. And you've heard me say it before, and especially someone like Bandito, who is a amazing luchador. It's important to grow your audience. This one in particular, I'm talking about the Hispanic audience. It's the reason why every time AEW runs California, Arizona, Texas, they add luchadors, they add Hispanic talent to the show. It's why they work with CMLL, is because it's important. It's an important part of the audience. And I think, especially when you look at adding, when you talk about growing your audience, you're talking also about like generational families. You know, one of these parents could take their kids and they see Bandito with his cool mask and be like, Dad, I want to be like that guy. Can I have his mask? And it's we talk about how you and I, different aspects of wrestling. I love the behind the scenes type of stuff as much, if not more, than the ring work. It's because of how my brain works. And I'm just very excited to see what Bandito will continue to do for AEW and getting put in that position. It's something I've been wanting almost 3 years since I remember seeing Bandito against Bryan Danielson in 2023.
Yeah, this match is going to be great. It could be a Continental. It fits right in the Continental Classic. If they were both in it, it would be like a match that you were anticipating for. So I am really looking forward to it. I don't like that they didn't address that MJF that has been the Dynamite dozen Battle Royal champion for like the last 5 years. Like, why he's just not in it. Why didn't he address not being in it? Because he loves his ring. It's one of his major weapons. So why aren't they really discussing why he's not in it? You know what I mean? John Moxley knows he's alive. He says he likes the Continental Classic. It's simple. There's nowhere to hide. It's all about effort. He antagonizes people. He pushes their button. He made Kyle O'Reilly try to pull his right foot off his body. Roderick Strong was at his best tonight. And Moxley knew he was 30 seconds away from being SOL in this tournament. He knows it's an uphill climb to win against the elite of the elite, but he just wants to know he didn't even leave any bullets in the chamber. He left them all out there, all of them. I am of the point that I am starting to believe. I know the Death Riders are looking at Moxley quite a way, right? I just don't think it's going to end to them ultimately turning on him. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that. I think Death Riders are going to mostly wind up more like Suzuki-gun than different factions that turn on each other. And I know Suzuki-gun started off as what's the bread guy? Who's the bread guy that loves bread?
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's not coming to mind, but I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
Kojima. Yeah, it was called Kojima-gun, and then they turned into. But instead, he lost all the time, and they never turned on him. So I'm like, well, let's see. All right, Continental Classic, Orange Cassidy versus Mascara Dorada. They had a very good match. They were trying to keep it. They're both. I believe Orange Cassidy's absolutely in a conglomeration. I believe Mascara Dorada is just conglomeration adjacent. I don't think he's actually in it, but it is what it is. So, they have a match. They're going at each other, but they're not like punching and all that kind of stuff. In the end, Dorada went to the top, but Cassidy was ready and blocked him. Dorada tried to turn it into a pin, but Cassidy reversed him and trapped him for the 3 count. Cassidy now has 2 straight wins and is at 6 points. 6 points in the Blue League. All right, that's the part about Mercedes and Athena wanting the World Tag Team titles. Jamie Hayter and Isla Dawn. Oh, I didn't even realize that we had moved on into the Collision part of it. But Jamie Hayter and Isla Dawn, Dawn come out. They had a really good physical match. Isla Dawn is somebody I could see on the roster, especially with them doing a lot of women's factions and a women tag team. I think she could fit on the roster with someone, maybe even Jamie Hayter. But in the end, Jamie hits the Haterade and gets the pin. Did you have any thoughts on the match, sir?
No.
Closer to the end of the night. I'm sorry.
It was one of those ones that said, no, it's just one of the ones where you're moving along storylines.
Yeah, it's like you got like a 3-hour show on a Wednesday. And believe me, again, this is a Floyd problem, probably a little bit of a JR problem. We watch so much wrestling during the week. When you extend the show another hour, for me, even though as much as I love AEW and passionately consume it, it's hard for me to stay focused for 3 hours on a Wednesday night. Any thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any wrestling show, to me, and it may not people when I see like it's a big issue, but I have yet to see a show be booked, a quality show beginning to end where you're entertained that's longer than 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and it's just like, all right. I'm not going to complain about it. It's like, oh, I have too much food. I mean, it's not a complaint. It really isn't.
I will say this: there is such a thing as too much of a good thing is a bad thing. I mean, overconsumption is a real thing. It does lead to potential burnout. And I'm glad that at least I would say this to AEW's credit, they pick and choose when they utilize 3-hour dynamites. But I think if you do it, and I think this show was pretty much, I mean, I was fine from top to bottom, but is that you should have some everything is meaningful essentially, whether it's storyline development or match quality. And I think, again, for the most part, I think this show was fine with it, but yeah, it's just something I would not want to see AEW do on a frequent basis, even though I know it's been talked about before, like among rumors.
Yeah. But like I said, but this match, I mean, like I said, I'm always going to be honest with it. I watched it, and it was like my eyes were looking at it, but I don't know how much attention I paid to it. So no disrespect to them, it was just it. And then the next match, of course, I paid attention to, because this is what I was waiting for. The main event of the evening, the main event of the show, the main event of the week. The greatest tag team walking God's green earth. The FTR versus Billy Gunn's son and Tony Storm's husband.
Don't do that. Don't like that.
I was just sticking with the gimmick that Dax did. I'm kidding. Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson. I love both of those guys. I love Austin Gunn. I love Juice Robinson. I was like, it's great. And so I just wanted to say that, but it was sticking with the gimmick. It was hilarious. Okay.
I've never don't think I've got a chance to say this on the show because it's been a while, but I feel really bad for Juice in Austin, the Bang Bang Gang, because Jay and Cole not being there is tough, and I think they're doing the best they can to maintain the Bang Bang Gang in their injured partners' absences.
I'm gonna say this. I don't know how they're heels when they all come back. When they all come back, it's just gonna be such a popular act. I don't know how they are anything but super baby faces, just because the chemistry of those five, and now adding Austin, Ace Austin in it, I just think would be amazing. So I'm waiting to see that. I also think they could carry Collision, because I feel like, as much as, FTR, my team, they've been doing a lot more Dynamite recently. I don't feel like they're the heads of Collision like they used to be. And I think we can get back to that, because what was always great was the FTR with whatever version of the Bang Bang Gang they were facing, which in this case, Juice Robinson, because the person that wrote this on the AEW site left out an N, which made me laugh. All right, so main event is going on. We're just gonna go to the finish. All right. All right. So Gunn superplex Harwood, and Robinson nailed a splash of his own, a version of Power and Glory, but Wheeler came off the top rope with splash his own to break it up. Gunn got Harwood with a famouser, and Robinson covered, but Harwood kicked out in the nick of time. On the outside, Gunn charged at Wheeler, who sent Gunn into the timekeeper's area. Back in the ring, Robinson had no one to tag, so FTR looked primed to hit the Shatter Machine, but Gunn pulled Wheeler into the ring post. Robinson hit the left-handed guy, because I think this last sequence is amazing. That's why I'm reading it all. Followed by the famous. So the referee counted to 3 as Harwood had his foot on the rope. Not really had his foot on the rope. Cash put his foot on the rope, which is very much a detail. The referee waved it off as the Bang Bang Gang celebrated with the titles. Harwood chop blocked Robinson, and Wheeler came off the top rope with a stomp to the knee. Harwood locked in an inverted figure 4 as Wheeler held off Gunn, so Robinson had no choice but to tap out. Oh my God. If this was not a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful heel finish. Sir, I will let you talk first, and then I will chime in.
Hey, as an old school wrestling fan, I loved every bit of it. It reminded me so much of classic teams, whether it's the Midnight, whether it's the Andersons, the Brain Busters. It's everything about FTR that I love and hold dearly. And I think with the Juice and Austin, they did everything they needed to do to be able to get, the sympathy that from the fans. And it's one of those things where, especially when he's reaching out, like, come on, just a little bit. It's just, and he finally just has to tap out. It was brilliant. It's, people, I know a lot of times in wrestling, especially today, people love like flashy moves and the high risk takes. But old school wrestling is it's the believability of it, to me, is second to none. And that's what I just love about it.
Dude, this match was so good. This was a classic tag team match with, of course, heel face dynamic. But they gave you every thought that the false finishes were super false. And they gave you every reason to believe that FTR was going to win this match. I mean, FTR was going to lose this match. And you heard the crowd get into it. They thought they were going to get a title change, and they were so happy. And then Juice taps out, and it was just like that energy left the crowd. But they just watched a banger. They know what they watched. They watched the greatest tag team on God's green do what they do better than anybody on this earth, and that's be a tag team. And like, hey, I know there's people out there that don't like FTR, and that's fine. I mean, you can have terrible taste. That's your business. But, oh, God, they're so good at what they do. And everyone's like, whoa, yeah. Yes, some people have shinier moves than them. But I think their moves are pretty dope themselves. But, hey, again, I am not biased in this situation. I am as unbiased as a human. I am as biased as a human can be in this situation. I'm super, super biased. Like, I just wanted to know. Like, I'm going to think what FTR does is great. So, that being said, I thought this match was especially great. And I don't know if y'all know this week, but that tag team FTR was told by, was it SportsIllustrated.com? Their page voted FTR the tag team of the year. Now, you'd be like, oh, they've won a lot of tag teams of the year, because they have. But you know why this was special? They didn't win the tag team belts until, what, a month ago? So they spent the better part of a year not in the main tag team thing and not the tag team champions, but still held it down and helped rebuild the division to what it is right now, with them on top and a lot of teams chasing them. So I thought it's like, some people call it knowing ball. Knowing FTR probably was the tag team of the year, in my opinion, means you know ball. Because, of course, you could look at the Hurt Syndicate, who was the tag team champions most of the year. You could look at other teams that were tag team champions a lot of the year. But what FTR was, building the foundation of the AEW tag team division back to its strength of what it is now, a lot of times will go unnoticed because they weren't winning the tag team belts, because they lost a lot of big matches, because they lost to Christian and Cope. They held it down, and between them and the Young Bucks, they made tag team matches, division, not for the belt, actually matter. So, top guys doing their thing. This match was another one. Austin and Juice are great, but I can honestly say, Juice and Switchblade, better tag team. Austin and Colton, better tag team. I'm looking forward to those two tag teams coming back one day. But yeah, I did really, really enjoy this match, and this night ended the way it should, with FTR and the top guys on top. Top guys out. Any thoughts on this match at all? Any more thoughts on it, sir?
No.
Okay. All right. So we get to finish this out. We're going to quickly, I think it was only a 3-match AEW Collision Holiday Bash. It wasn't very long. It's 4 matches.
Real quickly, I would say this. I don't know if there's a need for it, but AEW Collision Bash that occurred Saturday was done at I think 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, so that would be 2:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm just gonna say, I think we may need I'd say an hour Saturday morning wrestling show. Just throwing it out there. I remember watching it as a kid. I had some little bit of a sentimental, emotional flashback thinking about it.
Dude. Yeah, that would be fucking amazing. Focus on, just like Ricochet as the national champion, be the belt on that show. That would be great. Our show, mostly squash matches. You know, have one match that matters at the end. I'd pay good money for that. Like $1. That's what I mean by good money. No, because I don't want to pay for anything else. I have too many subscription services at it all. Have you seen those commercials where they was like, oh, if you can tell me how many subscription services you have, I'll give you this much money?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm pretty good with the money came through, but I started checking all my accounts and all my subscription services, and I have a lot. There you go. So it's like, I do know I would win if anybody ever asked me that. I know exactly how many subscription services I pay for, but I pay for too many. And when I get back from Japan, I'm going to try to figure that out. But I do have a problem. I don't like there to be stuff out there that I don't have available to watch. Even if I'm not going to watch it, I need to know I could if I wanted to. It's very weird. My brain is broken. Sorry, y'all. Whatever. All right. Starting off Continental Classic Gold League. Jungle Jack Perry. Jungle Jack. I like to say his name. I like to say it with emphasis. I like to repeat it. Because Jim Ross won, y'all. Jim Ross won. I just want to throw that out there every time. Versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Man, they had a really good athletic match. And there was this part where it was like, so Speedball... It hurts my soul how much of a fan of his I'm becoming. And I don't like it. It's not supposed to be like this. He has a mullet and he's barefoot. It's disgusting. But he's overcoming those obviously character flaws. They are overcoming the obvious character flaws and keep performing to the level where I'm like, man, this dude's really, really good. And I hate it. I hate it, JR. I hate it. You know how much I was set on just hating Speedball Mike Bailey for the rest of my life, and it's not working anymore because when I watch him, it's like he comes on the screen and I get happy and I hate it. I'm not supposed to. But this match was fun. It was athletic. Speedball at one point even checked on Jack Perry to make sure his ankle was okay, and he could have went after his ankle. He didn't, and I feel like in the end that was what cost him, because in the end, Jack Perry, who's becoming a biter, I don't know what's going on here. Is this becoming a new part of the thing? He bit Takeshita on a part that I will not mention, and then he bit Mike Bailey on his foot. So desperately threw up his own knees to block the move. Bailey got back up with a thrust kiss Perry's face, followed by a spinning kick in the corner. He went for the weapon. Perry moved a bit and then bit Bailey's foot. He had a backdrop suplex to score the pin in his first 3 points of the Continental Classic. A festively dressed Lucha Claus made his way to the ring to celebrate with Perry and a sack of gifts as Speedball and Perry embraced after a hard-fought battle. So I felt like the story of this match is that Jack Perry wanted to necessarily be clean, but he was at 0 and he was desperate for a win. So desperate times calls for desperate measures. So he put a man's foot in his mouth. Disgusting. He put a man's foot in his mouth, which is nasty. And yeah, and then he got the pin. And then Mike Bailey was like sitting on the ropes like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You bit my foot. I hate you. And then he was like, okay, but I'm sorry, but that was just a match. I didn't do really anything illegal, kind of thing. So, and then he's like, here's a present. I think he gave him like a Tonka truck. Did you have any thoughts on this match, JR? I think you watched it this morning or later last night. I don't remember which one.
No, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about, putting individuals in positions to, potentially be the face or carry the company. And this year, I really like how they have started to book and push Speedball and the Jet, for that matter, because you're creating, whether it's tag teams or singles guys, it's important. People want to see, new stars, and people want to see them get developed and become a thing. We love it, and I thought this was good for both of them, especially with Jungle Jack coming back as a babyface. So it was very interesting. He bit in the foot, and I'll say this: I'm like, you crazy, man, because I like Speedball, but that dude walks barefoot to the ring, so who knows the hell is he stepping on getting to the ring?
Yeah, and nasty, disgusting. I hate feet, just in general. It's just, some people have foot fetishes. I'm the opposite of that. I don't know what that was. I would, I'd rather cut off your feet than be anywhere near them or touched by them. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's not a thing for your boy. That's not. Eddie Kingston defeats Nathan Cruz. I was familiar with Nathan Cruz because I remember my first foray into British wrestling was Progress. You've actually seen a Progress match live?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, did you go to Super Strong Style or no?
No, it was just the regular monthly show.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you actually went there, and I was a big Progress fan. A long time ago, and Nathan Cruz was one of the first guys that I saw as a star. So I know he's good, and I know he's respected in England. Him and Eddie Kingston had a good match with GYV throwing in some interference there. And then Cruz rolled up at Kingston for a 2 count, but Kingston came back with a shoulder suplex and a DDT to get the win. And Kingston using the DDT as a finisher. I don't think he's ever used that as a finisher. So I thought that was cool. I'm a big fan of the DDT in general as a move. And if you can ever learn how to do it just like Arn, that should be your finisher. But this was just a solid match. You knew who was going to win. But Nathan Cruz, I thought, performed really well. Got Eddie Kingston a win back to get him on the winning trail as they try to build him up to whatever he's doing next. You have any thoughts on this match, sir?
Oh, no.
Okay. I didn't. Yeah, I was stretching. I was like, Eddie Kingston beat him up. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? Oh, and then again, this was spoiled for me. This was actually spoiled. What happened was actually spoiled for me while I was watching Dynamite, posting on Dynamite. I saw this. All right. So Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Champion Open Challenge. Mercedes Moné comes down the ring, has all her guys opening the belt, and she stands in the ring for Open Challenger, and she's like, she wants a local Open Challenge, and Windsor! And then that's the music you hear. Alex Windsor comes out. Mercedes Moné and Alex Windsor have I'd say great match. Definitely the best match on this show to me. We get into this case. Monet fought off Windsor's grass with elbows and went back to the statement maker. Windsor got out and rolled into a sharpshooter attempt, so Monet kicked her away. Monet tried a sunset flip. Windsor sat down for a 1 count. Monet came up for the money maker, so Windsor slipped out and trapped Monet in a pin to get the 1, 2, 3, and no. Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Champion. So the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Champion contains both the Rev Pro Undisputed title and the Queen of the Southside title. That's what makes it the Undisputed title. So Monet lost 2 of her belts. I believe she's down to 10 now as her losing as streak in quotations continues. And she loses her bed. Windsor's son comes in the ring to celebrate in a super emotional moment. I knew Alex Windsor, new British or Rev Pro British Women's Champion in Manchester, in her home country. Not home city, but home country. She wins the title, gets to celebrate with her kid. Super awesome moment. I thought it was a really good match. I think they got some really good chemistry. Personally, I could see doing this match for a AEW title down the future. I thought this match was good, and I just kind of want to say, I heard this week there was like rumors. I think there was a question about whether she was signed because of Will Ospreay. I was at this time. I want to have my honest moment. That's kind of what I thought when she first signed, because I really wasn't familiar with her game. I really wasn't. I'd maybe seen 2 matches of hers, so I absolutely was not familiar with her game. I am now familiar with her game. Until that, I say, yeah, she was signed because she's a really good wrestler. Maybe the eyes got on her because of Ospreay, but yeah, she got signed because she's a really good wrestler. So I thought this match was fun. I thought it was good. I did not think that she was going to lose. So what'd you think, JR?
I was shocked because I literally thought that the goal was to put like 20 belts on Monet. And, she still has a lot. She still has 10. But I'm starting to feel a little bit like maybe there's going to be a character change with Mercedes. I'm starting to feel like a little bit of madness is starting to seep in after losing her Ring of Honor TV title to Red Velvet, and then losing her Rev Pro title to Alex Winter.
This is Jess.
So I don't anticipate Mercedes and Athena becoming the AEW Women's Tag Team Champions, so which I think is slowly going to send her into a madness. So I'm more intrigued, not that she lost the belt, but what's going to be the character development of this situation.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. She was like, I just make sure. She was. This match was really good, and I just like anybody that had any doubt that this woman is on that level, go ahead and watch this match, because I thought it was showed that she was step for step right there with her, and it was just a really good match. So, new champ, congratulations, Alex Windsor. And on to the main event, the Continental Classic, Continental Council Golden League. It is Kevin the Jet Kevin Knight, not Kevin the Jet Knight, Kevin the Jet Kevin Knight. He upsets Unified Champion Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. Okada tried to pick Drew. Okada hit a wheelbarrow suplex. I feel like that was a shot at Takeshita. I'm just going to throw that out there. Okada tried to pick Kevin Knight up, but Knight grabbed a cradle for the 3 count. Okada and Akalis are shocked. Kevin Knight is shocked. There is a picture out there. I was going to share it from my page where it's showing the shocked look on Okada's face and the shocked look on Kevin Knight's face and Callis' face pretty much all at the same time. And I just thought it was amazing. Kevin Knight, probably the breakout performer of this C2, comes out and pins Okada. He has a win over Darby Allin and Okada to get to 6 points. This was crazy. Sir, what did you think?
It was a day of a finish with shocking moments, because there is absolutely unequivocally no way that I ever think Kevin Knight was going to beat Okada. And while I still feel it's all but locked that Okada is going to be the finalist in the Gold League, one of the 2 finalists, I have no idea who's going to come in second. This Gold League, I think this is a positive thing, because when you have something that's constant like the C2 or G1 Climax, you have to do certain things to make the outcome look very unnormal and different.
Uh-huh.
And I think that this is exactly what needed to happen. So definitely I need to tune in Wednesday for Dynamite to see how this is gonna further along before we get to World's End.
Yeah, dude. So this is what I promised, that we were gonna quickly go over the results of the Continental Classic, you can definitely go on the AEW page, go to news, and click on Continental Classic, and it'll give you the breakdown of where everyone's at. And right now, the full-on breakdown is we have a 5-way tie for first place in the Gold League. Okada, Bailey, Fletcher, Knight, and Pac all have 6 points. They are all okay. Okada, Knight, Fletcher, and Bailey all are 2-2. Pac is 2-1, so that actually gives him the advantage because he has 2 more matches while everyone else only has. He has 2 more matches while all the rest of the people that are tied only have 1 more match, as opposed to Jack Perry, the only person with 3. He still has 2 more matches. So Jack Perry still has Pac and Fletcher. And then Pac still has Kevin Knight and Jack Perry. So it's about getting there time. It's about to get there on the league. In the Blue League, a little more space. Takeshita and Claudio both have 7. But again, in this case, Takeshita has only had 3 matches where Claudio has had 4. So Takeshita technically has the advantage there. Takeshita, if he wins his 2, can finish with 13 points. And the most Claudio can finish with is 10. John Moxley is at 6 points at 2-2. He only has 1 more match, so the most he can finish with is 9. Mascara Dorada at 1-2 would have to win both of his matches to get to 9. And he has Takeshita and Roderick Strong left. And then Roderick Strong, who's 0-3, he only has 2 matches left, and those are against Claudio and Mascara Dorada. And he's at 0. He's the only person in the whole tournament that's eliminated. But everybody else, they need some wins and some things to happen. I believe if Takeshita wins 1 more match, if he wins 1 more match, that puts him at 10, and he would win the Blue League. Because, if he wins 1 more match, he would be guaranteed to go on because Claudio has 7, and if Claudio, the most Claudio can get is 10. So the most anybody can get, the most he can get is 10, and the most Max can get is 9. So if Takeshita wins 1 of his last 2 matches, he would automatically move on. And so he would just need to be able to beat Dorada, Orange Cassidy. I believe his match against Dorada is this Wednesday. So yeah, that is how to keep it up. The Gold League, I can't do. I just can't do it. It's everybody's tied. There's a lot of numbers. I would have to, do math. I'm not the greatest at math. No, I'm just kidding. No, I could figure it out, but we will go over this after the matches this week on the World's End preview show. So we will go over there because that will probably be easier to answer then. All right. Actually, everybody will be in the finals by the World League agrees. So it won't be any. I won't need to break it down. So I may do it on the Twitter page or whatever. But there we go. So again, Takeshita better win. He's the whole reason I'm going to World's End. He's the whole reason I bought the ticket in July. I bought a plane ticket in July. And yes, I am insane. I am going to Chicago like less than 5 days, 6 days before going to Japan, because if there is a chance on earth that Takeshita and Okada are wrestling each other at World's End, I will be there. So there you go. Thank you for Chris Reigns, my boy. I just said, hey, I'm going to the show. He's like, I'm there with you. Boom. That's how you do it. And even better, White Castle's AEW announced a White Castle meal, 2 bacon cheeseburgers, fries, and a drink. And with the meal, you get a mask. And what day does it go on sale? The day of World's End. And what does Chicago have that Oklahoma doesn't have? White Castle. Oh, It's kind of amazing, right? I know. Do you know how many people sent me that?
I'm gonna say I'm putting the over under at 6.
Yeah, 6. It was I think it was like 5 or 6. It was right there. And then I just got a message that my boy Daniel is going to be at the show next week. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, we covered the shows for the week. We're gonna look at let's see, what did they announce for next week? Because I know the spoilers are out there, so I didn't want to go to Twitter because I didn't want to, get the spoilers. So I am going to the AEW site to get the preview for next week. So just letting y'all know why I'm doing it this way, so I won't get the spoilers. Well, let me ask this, JR. So they did 2 shows in the UK. Every year, they have announced All In at this time of the year since they started doing it. They were in the UK and didn't announce the All In on sale date. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think they're probably waiting for a time, as we mentioned. AEW did win some awards. But I think in this year, 2025, I think both of the big wrestling companies in America has taken some steps back. But I do feel with recent developments, AEW is taking the right steps to move forward. Probably waiting a couple months. Hopefully attendance picks up in the States. Hopefully, there's more intrigue. And, also I think once you get past Christmas and get past New Year's, start thinking people, in potential have more money around, potentially March or April, so that when you post that on sale date, you can, sell a good amount of tickets right up front instead of waiting for people who are going to try to buy at the last minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that makes sense. Okay, hold on a second. There is no way for me to get a good Dynamite review without reading the spoilers, so I'm not going to do a Dynamite review. I hope y'all can respect that. Like anything I click on is leading to, like, hey, this is what happened on Dynamite, because I believe they recorded the Dynamite on 34th Street last night in Hammerstein, and they're recording Collision tonight. I have avoided it, so just know it's going to be a good show. Dynamite. It comes on at 7 Eastern, 6 Central on Wednesday. So make sure you check that out. But yeah, I don't want to break anything. So yeah, the White Castle thing was the only thing really in the news and notes. You can check out shopaew.com. They're doing their 12 days of Christmas sales. I just, what did I get? Friday they did the 1 hour sale, and it was the inaugural tag team champions, Babies of Wrath, and I got me in Austin those shirts for Christmas, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, and then all I'm getting you for Christmas is me in Japan, baby. Yeah. All right, but I think that's it for the show as far as what we got. We're gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna do a preview of World's End, predictions and shows and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, before then. So, JR, do you have anything else before we get out of here?
No, I just wish everybody a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. As you enter the new year, start thinking about some things you want to change in your life for the better. It's a fresh start, and I think it's time people start looking at it that it's a time to start anew. So if there's any goals, anything you were putting off, and I know everyone's like, oh, I need to get to the gym or I need to lose weight. I'm talking about, not just physically, mentally well-being, financial well-being, whatever it is. I hope you guys do well with it and do stuff, because change is not a bad thing. Change is a good thing. We all need to move forward in a positive way as we enter 2026. I think this year in 2025 for a lot of us, from what I've seen, it's been a very difficult year. And the way to shake off a difficult year is to think positive at the beginning of a new year.
And share with us, our friends. I've shared your favorite Christmas movie is Home Alone. Do you have a favorite Christmas TV special or episode of a show?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot, and so many things are coming to mind.
Yeah, because I wanted it to be the first thing to come out of your mouth, not like a well thought out thing.
I got one that kind of it was an episode of Family Matters where Laura had purchased this expensive gift outside of a mall, in a mall, and outside the store was a snowstorm. Steve, as he does, Steve Earle comes bumbling around in his Isetta. He grabs the bag, trips, breaks it, and Laura yells at him and basically says that you ruined my life. And then she has the equivalent of the Jimmy Stewart movie, It's a Wonderful Life. She has her angel come and kind of tells her like what life would be like if, on the other side, if she was like Steve and Steve was like her, Laura. And it kind of, makes, appreciate things that you do have. And I think a lot of times we get so caught up on the things that we don't have. We don't think about the blessings that life gives us. So I think that was a pretty good special.
That is awesome. I'll probably actually look that up and watch it. Of course, everyone knows my favorite Christmas movie, if you listen to the show, is Love Actually. I know, very weird. But that would be my favorite Christmas special is Boondocks Christmas. I think it's the 4th episode of the cartoon The Boondocks. It's the 7th episode of the first season of Boondocks. A Huey Freeman Christmas. Make sure you check that out. Also, Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas. And this is like the original one that's really hard to find. The 80s TV special with the golden harmonica. Dude, I don't cry a lot, but you could not play that with him giving away the golden harmonica and I not cry. It is impossible. So that's like one of my favorite Christmas specials. Those are standard viewing for me every year. I usually wait till like that Christmas Eve night when I work and I watch Love Actually, and that's what I do every year. And then I watch Christmas Story at some point in the day on Christmas. Do you have a Christmas viewing tradition, sir?
No, not really.
All right.
But I will say this: my wife and I do have a New Year's one where every year we watch the movie Happy New Year.
What's the movie Happy New Year? What's that about?
Or is it? I'm sorry, I think it's New Year. It's not Happy New Year. It's New Year's Eve.
Okay. So I watched that. Yeah. I watched that on New Year's Eve too. That's my New Year's Eve tradition. I watch that, and then I watch When Harry Met Sally. I always watch When Harry Met Sally. What is it? An hour and 56 minutes. So it literally, when Harry is declaring his love for Sally and talking about the new year that happens in New Year, it is actually hitting the new year where I'm at. I know it's stupid. It's sentimental. I do it. I don't care if you like it. Whatever. All right. But that's the end of the show. I just want to remind you, I know this is one of the saddest times of the year. Make sure, for some people, make sure you're taking care of each other, checking on your friends, letting them know you love them. Make sure you leave an extra spot at the table in case someone needs somewhere to eat. Give gifts to your toy drive if you are so inclined. Again, when it comes to giving gifts to a toy drive, what I did, I went through all of my AEW toys. I found duplicates. I keep them all in cases. I keep them all in good condition. And I gave them away for Christmas. It's not to make, I'm not saying that to like make you feel good. I'm just saying you don't necessarily have to go to the store and spend a couple $100s on stuff. As much as you're in the wrestling world, if you're in it like me, you've collected stuff. You've had stuff that was in the AEW crate, stuff that you've collected. These are all stuff that kids look like it's the greatest thing in the world at times. But somebody out there is getting a Willow figure, so I know, I'm hoping it's a dude so he can realize, what perfection looks like. So, no, it's, just do what you can for people. Help them out, have their backs. It's not all about giving gifts and not all about anything. You can give a hug, give love, give friendship. Those all can mean the same thing to so many people out there. So I will leave you. How I always leave you. Oh, before I get off, if you listen to Keeping It Strong Style, they have sent out the votes for their end of the year poll. Make sure you go vote on us. I actually wait all the way to the end of the year for AEW. I worked until after World's End, and then I'll be sending out the AEW poll. But I will then leave you how I always leave you. Whether it's home, work, or a school, always do your best to be elite.
Marriott Bonvoy is the official hotel partner of US Soccer. Join Marriott Bonvoy today to get closer to the game with exclusive perks, unforgettable experiences, and benefits that go beyond the pitch. Spring Hill Suites, part of Marriott Bonvoy, offers complimentary hot breakfast and spacious all-suite accommodations, perfect for the whole team, with room for up to 6 guests. Make your next getaway a win. Learn more at springhillsuites.marriott.com.